Hey guys, Gabriel Varga here. Today I want to take you through the difference between a Muay Thai style punch and a boxing style punch. Because when I went to Thailand, they were trying to change up my punching technique. I didn't care for it, although I do understand there are some reasons to throw it. So I want to take you guys through all the details of the way I understand these two style of straight punches. This is an episode worth sticking around for because you will be surprised how different these two punches are. Alright guys, today I want to focus in on the cross. What is your backhand doing when it comes straight out, and the differences between the Muay Thai style and the boxing style. And if you are new to combat sports in general, you might be thinking, really, how different can it be? The hand starts at the cheek, it goes straight out to the target, and that is it. But no, there are many small details that make the boxing style punch and the Muay Thai style punch very different. So I want to run you guys through, first of all, the technique of both of them, what the differences are, and then we'll talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of each style. So beginning with a boxing cross, my hands wherever they are, let's say we're out here, we're here, doesn't really matter. The hand comes right from the cheek, it comes directly out. What you will generally notice with a boxer is the elbow stays tight, they hit the target, they draw right back. It's straight, it's fast. Sometimes they'll drop their head, but more often than not, the head stays up where it is, and it's lots of hip twisting and hitting the target, drawing right back. The Muay Thai style punch, the main thing that's different, and this is very, very noticeable if you've ever been to Thailand, when they hit, they don't come straight to the target and straight back. They hit and they drop. They drop a little bit. And to be able to drop, it's very difficult if my elbow stays in to come straight out and then down. So they come up with the elbow. When they connect with the target, instead of drawing straight back, they drop that extra little bit and pull right back. So if I was hitting Bob, it would not look like a boxing style punch where I hit and I pull straight back. It's hit and drop down. Hit and drop down. And over when I was in Thailand, where they were holding pads for me, they were constantly correcting me. Don't hit there and pull back, hit and drop, hit and drop. Now there's a couple main points you need to add into this. If you are going to be dropping your elbow and dropping your hand, it takes longer to pull back. Your head is more compromised. So something that they also teach, which you will see lots of fighters like Buakaw or Rodtang do, is the head does not stay in one place. When they throw, they drop and very often move their head a little bit forward as well. It's basically just a preemptive form of defense. Instead of staying here and then dealing with moving my head, I move as I throw and get that drop down to, I guess the idea being, when you hit the chin, you knock the chin down and jolt the head even more. Now my first thought about the, let's call it Muay Thai versus boxing cross, is the boxers are experts at hands. Why would you want to do anything different? Boxers are the guys who specialize, and they're coming straight out. That's good enough for me. I wouldn't be trying to change anything myself, but I could see the reasoning behind some of this being that in general, the Thais focus on the clinch, they focus on the kicks more at distance. So when they end up in that punch range, it's just more drop the head and then they can fall and initiate the clinch. Whereas from here, when you finish your punch, you are open to a kick, but being able to hit and close the distance, get that head off the center line, that leaves you less open to a kick, maybe a little bit more vulnerable for a knee, but overall I can understand the thinking behind it. But if you are an MMA fighter, a kickboxer, a boxer, somebody in karate, there is not much reason for you to hit, drop, move your head to the side all at once. There's lots of shots where you can bend your knees and do something like that, where you keep your elbow tucked in. Now what I like to do when I look at who I want to emulate, which style is going to be best for me, I like to look at the best fighters in the world. When you look at somebody, let's say like Floyd Mayweather, he's moving his hands around, his elbows in tight, he comes straight out. There's very little tell. There's very little lift in his arm. He's very good at getting his hands straight back, being defensive. If you get somebody, let's say one of the other best strikers in the world, Georgia Petrosian, who fights from a southpaw stance, he keeps his lead hand out. His cross is always on point, but he does raise his elbow a little bit as it goes out, and he won't go down at all, but he definitely has a slight arch, just a slight arch when he hits before he draws back very quickly. So if we look at those two strikers and we go, they're both amazing, they both know what they're doing, that really doesn't help us with an indication of maybe one being wrong and one being right. One of the things that for me though is very, very simple. Very, very simple to decide which of the two I want to throw. Do I want to throw this or this? It's defensive. It's the defensive ability of the shot. So when I come from here and I let my hand hit and drop down, a lot of times you will see anybody who throws it like that, they're not great at drawing it back. They hit, they come down, and it kind of sweeps back down low before they return it. A lot of times you'll see them get countered. Buakaw is a prime example of that. He will have his hands up really high, he'll be moving, he'll throw, and then sometimes it comes back a little lazy and he gets countered. It still works for him, but he also has a granite jaw and you very rarely see him get rocked from that. The way I always throw punches, the way that I like to throw punches is straight out, as soon as I hit the target, back to my head. Minimize the amount of time that my head is exposed. And the final thing to keep in mind about these two punches is, how does your shoulder feel when you throw? For me, coming straight out like this feels nice and comfortable. There's no strain on my body. As soon as I drop and I lift and I hit and I have to drop, right at that angle there, I feel the shoulder light up. Now that might be my flexibility, it might be something else, but it does not feel great. And I remember in Thailand when I'd be hitting and they'd want me to hit the pad and drop down, just going, after 3 or 4 rounds of doing that, my shoulder would just start to lock up. But if you just get me to throw from there, I could do that all day without that shoulder getting damaged. So overall, in this sort of debate, Thailand cross versus boxing cross, I'm gonna go with the boxing cross. If you've watched my fights, you've seen me stick with that. The simple reason being that I am most focused on defense. And also, I don't like the elbow lift and the little bit of a tell, because that I feel like opens me up for counter round kicks. When I keep here, I come straight down the middle. If somebody does happen to throw, they're most likely going to catch my arm, as opposed to here where I'm nice and open for that body counter round kick. This is, like I say many times on my channel, all down to you. It's all down to what feels best for you. You need to try out both. You need to try it both out in sparring, see which one makes you feel safer, which one you're more successful with. You can try it on the pads and ask your pad holder which one's more powerful. If you are getting 50% more power on this shot, it might be the one for you. For me personally, I've found from talking to my pad holders that I get about maybe 10-20% more power on that, but it's not worth it for me because that is still a powerful shot, and defensively, I don't get countered very often. You guys could watch 100, 1,000, 10,000 YouTube videos on people telling you what to do, but really a lot of times it comes down to you understanding all the options and then trying them out, making your own decisions based on your body, based on the way your brain works. I just pass on the information to you guys and let you do what you will with it. That's what a good instructor does, in my opinion. Guys, if you enjoyed the video today, give it a like. If you haven't already, get subscribed. Train hard, guys, and I'll see you back here soon for another video.